Hi, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my international case too, which is about extreme heat and atmospheric impacts across the southern hemisphere, including places like Argentina, Australia, Chile, and parts of Africa. In this presentation, I'll be connecting the event to Module 8, Air Pollution and Atmosphere, and Module 11, Climate Change, showing how climate change and air pollution are not separate issues, but how they're actually interconnected systems. So, what is even taking place? Well, what we're seeing here is not just hot weather, but it's results from climate change. And it is a pattern of extreme heat occurring across multiple regions at the same time, showing the actual scale of this issue. These rising temperatures combined with dry conditions are fueling wildfires that spread rapidly and are difficult to contain. As these fires intensify, both ecosystems and human communities are left increasingly vulnerable. This begins to show the gravity of the situation. As you see, these fires are drastic and they're displacing a lot of communities. It reflects a larger environmental shift rather than just like isolated events. Impact. So the impacts of these events are both immediate and long term. Entire communities, as I said, have been displaced, and there have been injuries and fatalities reported showing how directly human life is being affected. At the same time, forests and ecosystems are being destroyed, which represents damage that can take decades or even centuries to recover from. Something that I found kind of crazy to think about were that ancient trees from Argentina are being burned down when they have literally stood for more than a millennia. That's insane to think about. Infrastructure is strained, economies are being impacted, and air quality is being worsened, which creates dangerous living conditions. This really highlights how one environmental event can ripple through multiple systems, affecting both people and the natural world simultaneously. So I found it very important to just pull some numbers to kind of demonstrate the impact of this horrible natural disaster that is going on. So in Chile, there have been 21 fatalities and 50,000 people evacuated. In Africa, by 2065 to 2100, many parts of Africa could experience heat waves on 250 to 300 days per year, kind of putting into perspective on how this is a long-term issue that we need to be paying attention to more. Australia reached its fourth warmest January on record, surpassed 49.5 Celsius on the 26th of January, and 90,000 homes were left without power for incidents related to wildfires and extreme temperatures. So this just really puts into place how dangerous this is for our community. So, as Module 8 spoke about, natural factors greatly degrade air quality. Forest fires produce particulate matter, nitrogen oxides, and carbon monoxide, which are extremely dangerous to human health. These pollutants degrade air quality and pose serious health risks, especially fine particulate matter, which can enter the lungs and affect the respiratory system, making it hard to breathe. What's especially important about this is that air pollution is not confined to one place. These emissions can travel thousands of kilometers, which means that it's going to affect and extend far beyond original fire zones. And it's going to impact regions that may not be even near the fires. So, this demonstrates how atmospheric systems are interconnected and highlights the importance of pollutant monitoring and control in today's society. So, climate change. This is the second thing that I decided to relate my presentation to. This event can be also understood through Module 11 on climate change, which the textbook basically explains that global temperatures have increased by about 1.1 degrees Celsius, not only in the southern hemisphere, but globally due to greenhouse gases, which trap heat in the atmosphere. As temperatures rise, evaporation increases, reducing available water and leading to drought conditions. These dry conditions make vegetation more flammable, increasing the likelihood and intensity of the wildflowers, which directly connects to what we're seeing in this event, where extreme heat and droughts are creating the perfect conditions for these fires. Looking ahead, projections suggest that regions like parts of Africa may experience more frequent and prolonged heat waves, showing that these impacts are not only current, but it will continue to happen if we don't do something about it. Um, and it all originates from climate change. It's a monopoly. It all originates from climate change, but in reality, the environment is interconnected and everything is just going to get worse if we don't put a stop to it. So, in conclusion, extreme heat across the southern hemisphere reflects the growing impact of climate change. Rising temperatures intensify drought conditions, which creates environments that are highly susceptible to fires. These wildfires then release pollutants that degrade air quality and alter atmospheric systems, which then intensifies the climate change in our environment. This environmental stress continues to escalate across affected regions, showing the interconnected nature of these processes. And as I said, I keep repeating interconnectedness, but it's actually so important in this topic. And regions like parts of Africa are expected to experience these impacts more severely in the future, reinforcing the long-term consequences. And it just demonstrates that climate-driven events such as extreme heat and wildfires impact both human and natural systems simultaneously. Thank you so much.